We're going to unpack the 9 best pieces of advice for fat loss when it comes to your nutrition, your training, and your lifestyle. It makes sense for us to start with nutrition because that's where we get our most bang for our buck when it comes to fat loss. It's very easy to train hard in the gym, but it's hard to be disciplined when you get home, you've had a long day at work, and you just want to find some comfort in some Ben & Jerry's ice cream. First, we have to define something. Fat loss versus weight loss. Fat loss is when you lose fat. Weight loss is when you lose fat and muscle. The first point that's essential for fat loss is creating a calorie deficit. It's been banged on and harped on about on social media. Everyone should know what it means, but if you don't, I've got you covered. A calorie deficit is when you burn more calories than you consume. The amount of calories that we burn throughout the day are made up of things like your basal metabolic rate, non-planned exercise activity thermogenesis, the thermic effect of food, and your exercise activity thermogenesis, or your planned exercise. That sounds very complicated. For now, that's all you need to know. That's how you burn your calories. And the amount of calories that we consume is just how much we eat and drink. And if how much we burn over here is more than we consume, within that discrepancy, we have a calorie deficit. But the question within that is how much of a calorie deficit should we create? To put it in very general terms, we want to lose as much as we can without over-restricting ourselves and creating a lifestyle that we don't like and a tendency to really want to give up and binge on our diet. But we also don't want to lose weight too slow so that we lose motivation. So there we have this sweet spot. And the sweet spot is around 1% of your body weight per week. And there's around about 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. So if you want to lose a pound of body fat per week, or roughly half a kilo, then you would create a weekly calorie deficit of 3,500 calories, and that would total to a 500 calorie deficit per day. If you want to lose more, you would create a larger calorie deficit than 500 calories per day. If you want to lose less, then you would create a smaller calorie deficit per day. When we look at the priorities for fat loss, the biggest thing that we need to consider is energy in versus energy out, or energy balance. So if we have a negative energy balance, that's also known as a calorie deficit. That's what we want to create. But once we have done that, we need to think about this next point. How much protein are you having? It's going to help us maintain our muscle mass. It's going to be like an armor over our muscles to help us prevent muscle loss and stop us from losing weight, but actually losing fat. So what is a high protein diet? Anywhere between 1.5 grams of protein to 2.5 grams of protein per day per kg of body weight. If you have a higher body fat percentage, you can afford to be on that lower end of the high protein range. If you're leaner than that, let's say 20% or less, even 15% or less, then you can be on that higher end, because the leaner you are, the more likely you are to lose muscle mass. So we really have to bump that protein up. Now that we've looked after your protein, what about your carbohydrates? Should we go low carb? Should we go keto? I'm here to answer that for you. Don't go low carbohydrate. I'm not a fan of it. When people diet, it just makes it even harder to stick to your diet if you're not having carbohydrates. Some people can tolerate it. Some people operate awesome on low carbohydrate. If that's you, good on you, mate, but that's not me, and that's not most people in the world. Keep your carbohydrates in. To go back to what's important, it's energy balance, calories in versus calories out. We have that high protein diet. Now with our carbohydrates, what does that represent in our diet? That's our energy. That's how we smash personal bests in the gym whilst we're cutting. That's how we maintain our strength. That's how we maintain our performance in the gym. That's also how we have good productivity throughout the day. That's what our brain functions on, glucose. So we want to keep our carbohydrates in. So when you are creating this calorie deficit, calculate your calories, calculate your protein, calculate your fat, which is going to be around 0.8 grams of dietary fat per day per kg of body weight, and then the rest you can fill up with carbohydrates. The research is clear that once we have created a calorie deficit and we have a high protein diet, it doesn't really matter if we're high carb, low fat, or high fat, low carb. But what does matter is how you feel on that split. And I have found, just through experience and through training thousands of people, that people often function better when they have carbohydrates in their diet. So keep the carbs in, keep training hard, because training hard is going to lean into, once again, preserving that muscle mass, which is what we train so hard for when we're in our bulking phases. And now that you have these guidelines with your food, what about supplements? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of pushing supplements when you're in a fat loss phase. We don't need to put so much emphasis on something that only represents 1 to 5% of importance. What's important is the deficit, the protein, the calories, the hard training, all that type of stuff. But with supplements, it's just a little boost. And I don't have a commission code, a discount code for you to buy any supplements so that I get a kickback. All I have is the research. And that suggests that creatine's pretty good and caffeine is pretty good as well. Creatine's one of the cheapest supplements. Caffeine you can have in a long black coffee, or you can use pre-workouts, or you can have one of the white monsters or the sugar-free energy drinks if you want to, whatever floats your boat. But these are proven. With creatine, just take 3 to 5 grams per day, every single day. No need to load. Often it causes discomfort in people's stomachs. With caffeine, just have it about an hour before you work out. Now that's your food covered, let's look at your training. Before we jump into this training section, I've got something exciting to show you. This is the new gym equipment that's going to be put up soon. This is the temporary squat rack, as you can see, adjustable bench. But we have some brand new equipment coming soon. This is a squat rack and a cable machine. We have a back extension machine. That tripod is not included. We have weight plates. I don't even know what this is, but this is very exciting. We got the other half of the equipment coming very soon, but this is going to be in the next YouTube videos. This stuff, look, I'm getting rid of it. I'm gonna keep that step, but I'm getting rid of the bench, these old mats, these dumbbells. I'm getting brand new ones. This box and these two things are going to be the acoustic mats for the podcast studio, which is going to be finished once all the equipment's in. So very exciting stuff. And back to the video. The biggest thing that people get wrong when they're trying to lose fat is they start training differently. They think, oh, okay, I'm trying to lose fat. Let's do high reps, low weight. And they just like work out like a madman. Let's get sweaty, let's not rest. It doesn't work like that, mate. The best thing is just train the same. Still train to be strong. Still train to lift as heavy as possible. You can do 2 reps, 4 reps, 6 reps, 8 reps. You don't have to go to 15, 20, 25, 50 reps. That's not how it works. We want our nutrition to do all the work for fat loss. When we're in this suboptimal nutrition environment to be strong and to build muscle, we need our training to really step up. Give those muscles something they haven't seen before. Continue to apply progressive overload because that's what's going to maintain your muscles as you get shredded. But then we have to think about another thing, and that's cardio. Should we do it? Check this out. Cardio is optional, not essential. You can use cardio to help increase your amount of calories that you burn throughout the day, but it's not essential. And one thing that I like to do with my clients makes a big difference and actually makes increasing physical activity sustainable. And that is making sure you're getting your steps in. Your steps are part of your NEAT level, your non-planned exercise. Just your walking around the house, you're vacuuming, you're doing the dishes, you're walking from meeting to meeting, you're walking to the bus stop. And we can actually utilize that and actually be proactive about how much we're walking, how much physical activity we're doing throughout the day to help us burn more calories without doing cardio. If you hate it and you're like, oh, I just gotta do it because that's what we do when we try to lose fat, you're thinking incorrectly. Let your calorie deficit do the fat loss and just use your steps to help increase the amount of calories you burn throughout the day to pay dividends into that calorie deficit. What I like to do is set 10,000 as a bare minimum, not because it's a magical 10,000 fat loss zone, just because that number often pushes people to consider about how physically active they are. Here's a sneaky tip: walk in between your sets at the gym. It's a game changer. So you can set 10,000 as a minimum, and if you want to bump it up, you can do 12,000 a day. You can do 15,000 a day. You can even go higher than that to help pay dividends into your deficit to accelerate your fat loss. And now that your nutrition and your training are dialed in to optimize fat loss, let's consider your lifestyle. Our lifestyle is what we do day to day, and there's 2 things that I want to break down, point 8 and point 9 of this video, which is going to just help put the icing on the cake for optimizing fat loss. The first thing is our sleep. I'm not going to say that you can't lose fat if you're tired or if you're sleep deprived. It just makes it a bit harder. Have you thought of what you're like when you're sleep deprived? Have you thought of what you're like when you sleep 4 hours after 3 days in a row? You are absolutely smashed on that 3rd day. Are you gonna go home and cook a nice meal, or are you going to order Uber Eats and eat 3 burgers for dinner? And then you may as well get a soft serve from McDonald's as well. If you're well slept, you're a different person. So when we're looking at our lifestyle, what person do we want to be? Do we want to be that balanced, energized, fresh perspective person? Or do we want to be that person that's just desperate for convenience, that just wants to take shortcuts, that doesn't want to train? And if they do train, they train half-ass. This all pays into not only optimizing fat loss, but optimizing your life and how you live. 7 to 9 hours, mate. Do your best. The last point is rest days. We still need to rest. We still need to recover when we're trying to lose fat. Cardio on our off days. That's not an off day. lifting light weights or just doing abs on rest days. That's not a rest day. I don't think we need to train every single day just because we're trying to lose fat. Take your rest days. We get our bang for our buck with our calorie deficit diet. So our training can stay the same. We don't need to go from 5 days a week to 7 days a week. If you're not taking your rest days, then your body's not going to function. We're already in a non-optimal place or a suboptimal diet with our calorie deficit. We're already fighting against our recovery. So we need to take those rest days as well as our sleep, and that's going to help us recover so that when we are in the gym, we're smashing it. Because if you just keep doing these workouts when you're not fully recovered and you don't have like the best energy levels, you're not going to be able to apply progressive overload. And if you don't do that, then your muscles are going to go, well, why should I keep growing? Or why should I preserve myself if I'm not seeing a hard enough stimulus in the gym? I'm just going to disappear. And then we fall into losing weight as opposed to losing fat. And if you've tried fat loss diets and they just keep failing and failing and failing and you're never succeeding, then you could be screwing up somewhere. And it's most likely because of what I've explained in this video. So click here to watch that and make sure that your next fat loss diet does not fail.